Welcome back to Virtually Vikings radio show. I'm Nikki Johns. Today we're going to discuss new programs in the Computers Information Systems with Dr. Summer Garrett and Dr. Brian Hulbert. Thank you both for joining me today.
Thank you, Mickey. We're happy to be here.
Dr. Garrett is the Dean of Business Industry and Computer Information Systems, and Dr. Hulbert is the instructor for the Computer Information Systems program here at St. John's River State College. We definitely want to learn a little bit about you. Could you each share with me how many years you've been here at St. John's?
Yeah, thanks, Mickey. So again, I'm the Dean of Business Industry and Computer Information Systems, and I've been at our college for over 17 years. Most of those years I was a faculty member teaching in our business department, and now I'm the dean. I'm originally from Palaca, Florida, so for our Palaca listeners, that's where I'm from, and I started my own higher education at our Palaca campus back in the 90s.
And
I'm
Dr. Hulbert?
Dr. Brian I'm Dr. Brian Hulbert, and I grew up in the New Orleans area, and then did my PhD in Dallas, Texas, and then moved here about in 2011 and started working here then. And I've been a computer science professor here since, mainly I started at Orange Park, but now I mainly am housed at the St. Augustine campus, and I've taught in both of the programs that we have here as a full-time faculty member, so I know them pretty well. And so really have enjoyed my time here at St. John's.
Always good to hear. What brought you to St. John's specifically? Is there something specifically that brought you in the area?
My family's from here, and so my mom is from Jacksonville. My entire family is in Jacksonville, other than she was the only one that actually left and went to New Orleans, where she met my dad. And so I wanted to come here and be near family.
Family ties. Same for you, Dr. Garrett?
Yep, like I said, those Palaca roots are strong. Growing up in Palaca, I didn't intend to stay in the area necessarily. I admit, as a youngster, the goal was probably to get out of Palaca. And so I went on and got degrees in business and masters in international business and traveling and kind of around the world. And then family brought me back close to home as well. And I'm happy to be back. And as an adult, I certainly appreciate my Palaca roots and my Palaca family and everybody in the area.
I know the college is happy to have both of you here, so it's always great to hear why people came in. If you don't mind, we'll jump into talking about the new programs. We're super excited about the returning Associates in Science and Computer Program and Analysis. Could you guys explain what that is exactly? Because it goes over my head.
Sure. So we previously had the Associate Science degree in Computer Programming and Analysis, and it was essentially on hiatus for a few years. And we are thrilled to be bringing that back this August. So it's starting now. We're bringing that degree back. And Dr. Hulbert is one of the lead faculty, the lead faculty in that area and in our department. And so he can mention more about the specifics of the programming aspect.
Yeah, Dr. Hulbert, could you?
Well, sure. And so we just did we looked at it, and as far as being a competitive program for students getting jobs out of the 2-year program versus a 4-year program, you can get employed. We have a lot of our ex-students or our graduates that have gone on and into programming positions and done well, but we found that adding a 4-year program to it would enhance the ability of our students to get to be competitive with the other 4-year programs in the area and around the country. And so that's really what we were looking at during this time off, was how can we make a better program for our students, still train them to program, which is really important, not something you get in a traditional 4-year computer science degree. Very little programming that you're going to find in it. Compared to what we have in our program, they will get a lot of programming in there. And so but at the same time, giving them a competitive 4-year degree, giving them a little bit more into the industry side of it, as far as what you would do with more of outside code. And that's what this, expansion in the 4-year does, is say, okay, the code management systems, how do you deal with those? And the system analysis and design part, where you're in groups and teams, and how that works. And so that's kind of the addition that we're going on, with this new program. And when you look at that and you say, well, what kind of careers would that lead into? Either one of these degree paths, because while we're bringing the system analysis and design, or the programming, back on, we've always had the networking, and we're enhancing that networking with that next level, which is going to be more of a cybersecurity focus for those students that went through the networking AS. And that comes from one of those, when you look at people with security and their desire, especially when they're hiring, is they always kind of want two skill sets. They want you to be able to do security and something else. And so when you look at a really good match to security, it's the networking. And so we feel like those two do really well together, as far as giving the students the ability to, yes, you can go out there and you can do the networking, and you can serve as the security person at that company. And so if you were someone that went down that track of security and cybersecurity and networking, you're going to be able to get jobs in the area of, where they may be saying, hey, we want security specialists, but we also want networkers. And so one of the things we do train towards is the CCNA exam, which gets you that, helps you take and get that certification from Cisco, and leads to a lot, an array of jobs in the networking area. And then you've got the whole idea of everyone's looking for security. But like I said, they say they want security, but they also want another skill set. And that's why it's nice to have both. When you talk about the programming and analysis, it's growing, especially with with AI becoming so strong now. They're going to need, even, everybody now is wanting somebody to be able to develop AI at their company, and have that experience with APIs, which you'll learn about if if you're in the program, what that term means, and be able to say, integrate ChatGPT into your company and how you use it and things like that. And so that's where we're headed when you talk about this computer programming and analysis, is really what's in the cloud. How do you leverage these things in the cloud, like AWS from Amazon, or someone else? They're actually providing a lot of these services for people to use. And so you don't even have to build it from the ground up. Whereas when you talk about our AS degree, we're going to show you how to build things from the bottom, and to be someone that does a lot of hard coding. Whereas the next level in that the next 2 years, it's a lot of, okay, what are they using in industry to make these things faster and do it quicker, and leverage these tools that might be offered by Amazon or Google or Apple or whoever it is. And, cloud computing is one of the areas that you're going to see hit there. And that's what's going on, is like, well, where does cloud, end up being, important in this? Well, Amazon has all these packages, or Microsoft has all these packages built to run all of your ChatGPT and your AI stuff on their cloud services. And so that's the kind of things that we'll be looking into and giving exposure to in that new program.
It sounds amazing, and this is going to be something that's in demand. And this is a job area that's in demand right here locally, correct?
Well, obviously,
I mean,
just about everything computer science is always in demand. I think that's always. Networking is in demand. I always tell students, do what you love. Don't pick an area because you think it's going to be better than the other one. When it comes to computers, it really is always in need, no matter what it is. And so I really say, pick the one that you really enjoy and love and are excited about. But yes, it's you can always find a position. If you want to stay local, you can find something. If you want to move on, you can move on. It's a very mobile degree. And if you want to work remotely, you can work remotely.
And then with that going on, as far as you said, we mentioned the work can be remote. Is our classes only on campus, or are those going to be online options for students? Do we have that flexibility that way?
Yep, so we do have some flexibility for the students. So in the AS degree in computer programming and analysis, nearly all, if not all of the classes can be completed online to meet the needs and the convenience, if you will, for our students. The Cisco Academy that Dr. Holbert referred to is based at our Orange Park campus. And so those foundational networking courses are taught at that campus in our Cisco certified academy. But a lot of the courses can be completed online in this degree and in our computer science area.
Which always makes it good for our students that are working while coming back to working on a degree that way.
Yeah, we try to make it a balance in the computer science and the programming and analysis. We like to bounce them on ground and online so that technically a student could, if they wanted to, complete the entire program online, but probably not in 2 years. Whereas, because of okay, we may hold this class on ground this session, and then the next one, which would be not, so let's say we do a fall class, right? And so one fall it's going to be on ground and one fall it'll be online. So if you wanted to do online, it might be something that you had to wait for and could lengthen it out if you wanted to do it all the way online. But it'll be put in such a way that they will be able to complete their degrees in 2 years. But I'd like to offer a little of both because there are students that want to be on ground and there are students that want to be online.
I've made it no secret when I went back to school, going online was a struggle for me.
Yeah.
I need that in-person connection. So, and I know some students that do better online, so it's always good to have the options. Another big one, this program isn't limited access compared to some of our other ones where they only accept so many students, right? So there's not a separate application, it's just applying into the AS, the Associates in Science and Computer Information.
Yep, that's correct, Mickey. So are anybody interested or ready to apply can go on to our website and submit that application and select one of these computer science programs, but they're not limited access. So what we mean by that is students who meet the criteria to be entered, we accept. So there's not an additional selection process or limited, we don't cap the enrollment or the capacity in that way.
The more the merrier, never a bad thing. And then the new, like that one's new coming returning. The new is this Bachelor's of Applied Science and Information Technology, or a BAS. People will see it referred to that way. And that one has the 2 separate tracks. I know you kind of already touched it on a little bit, but if you don't mind going back again, the software application development track, what's the focus with that one specifically?
Sure. So when you look at programming, we're going to hit all of your major areas of programming as far as languages go. And the beauty of programming is that once you learn one language, you kind of know all of them. And so that's really good. So it shouldn't be scared by the idea that you're going to learn a lot of them. It's just makes you more competitive to be able to say, I've done a C++, I've done C#, I've done C, I've done Python, I've done, Java. And, so we want to make sure that they get good coverage of languages and especially the APIs. Again, that word API comes up, but it's just like every language is really very small as far as when you talk about what a language is. And then what makes them popular are the APIs that they come with, which are basically packages of code that people have written already. And so, and if you're out there looking at job applications, they will often reference the APIs rather than the language that they want. And so that's why it's important to focus on those APIs, even though it's not that hard to learn the API once you know the language. A lot of them maybe want you to have some experience in that. And so that's why it's important that we kind of give you some idea of those and focus on not just the language itself, but how do I network in that language? How do I create a graphical user interface in that language? We do mobile apps. And so how do I create a mobile app? Even though the mobile application, languages are Java and for Apple, it's Swift. but what they're looking for, that when they say, what do I want? I want mobile apps. And so they don't tell you, hey, I want this language. So it helps to make sure that you give them a background, and we give our students a background in that and in those technologies, because there is that desire everywhere right now in everything. And so as far as like, does every company need an app? It's getting there where like everyone wants their own little custom app for their company to interact with. And then when you look at the big change that's happened recently is the web technology. I don't think a lot of people understand that while web design itself has kind of fallen off because of all the existing, tools like Wix and and those code creation they're called rapid application development tools that are available for making web pages and pre-designed. What happened now is that people have decided that the web technologies are really, really good for making front ends for massive programs. And so you have to know your web technologies as well as your back end technologies when you're talking about, okay, I may program in Java, but then the front of it, what people actually look at is a web page and as web technology. And so it's become really important that web technologies and your back end server side technologies, because that's really what's going on. And then how do I interact using those with the other back end technology that might be a cloud service from one of the big major companies? And so we make sure to try and get them exposure to all of those in that. When you talk about the networking, we've already talked about the idea that we have gone cybersecurity is the second level, and you're gonna in networking, certifications are really big. And so we really, really encourage our students and teach towards the certifications for our students. And that can start with the A plus. And the A plus is one of the easiest, earliest to get. And we have those hardware and software courses that you can take. The A plus exam would basically get you ready to be a help desk, right? And so that you're talking about if someone has a problem with their computer or whatever, the Geek Squad would be a good example of the kind of job you could get with that, just those two classes by themselves and getting that A plus certification. And then we've got like a smaller security, certification, like a security plus that you can do. And then we've got our big, when you talk about the AS degree right now, I'm talking about the AS3 level certifications that you would teach towards the CCNA, which is the really, we call it, it's your big certification. And that's one of your ones that leads towards your networking and really gives you, tells the employer, hey, I really know what I'm doing. And, one of the things we do is try to make sure that we do a really good job preparing you to go take those certifications. At the next level, the focus is going to be on certifications, mostly, in the cybersecurity area, because again, it's important to them and the employers to know what, not what classes did you take and what does your degree say, but what do you actually know? And those certifications are where they really don't have to question what your knowledge is. And so we really, really help our students to get certified and come out of here with those certifications. I think we have a really good program for doing that.
And for the AS degree, there's a lot of job placement through that, right? We track that information, and many of our graduates are getting jobs right when they're graduating with us.
So when you talk about the networking level, yes, the 2 years, like I said, you could actually just go in and do the Cisco, and we have a CCC, which are the
college credit certificate.
Thank you. And,
Thank you.
and so we have that in just that networking area. And just so let's say you're someone that doesn't have a degree or does have a degree in another area, and you're kind of working at a company and you're kind of stuck at that, a middling level because you don't have that certification. You could just come in and take those, there are 3 classes now. But that CCC is, I think, a little bit more. You could take that, and that would give you what you need to really move on and move up in industry just by doing that by itself. And so that it's a very different track when you talk about the networking and cybersecurity track versus the programming and analysis. you really are job ready, even with just some of the certifications out of that side.
Yeah, and so like Dr. Holbert is saying, we really are preparing our students and then in turn our graduates for if they're starting off in the field or in the industry, or if they have some experience and they're coming back and getting a credential, whether that's an AS degree, a bachelor's degree, the college credit certificate, which are those shorter credentials that can in turn be stacked towards the associate degree or bachelor's degree. And so we're, again, trying to meet our students with where they're at. So if they're entering the field, if they need just to add some additional experience and get additional credits and certifications, or if they're looking for advancement opportunities with their current employer or outside of their current employer.
Advancement's always important. Always learning is important. Um, and with that, especially, there's some terms that if you're not familiar with them, they can be overwhelming on our bachelor's degree side. And that's, again, for someone who doesn't have any experience with it. Things like senior capstone project and internship are required that final semester for the bachelor's degree. Can you explain what that means for someone who's not familiar with it?
Yes, happy to. So, like you just said, so in the end of the bachelor's degree, so in the end of what would be the equivalent of a 4-year degree, traditionally a 4-year degree, but in the end of the bachelor's degree, the students will take in their final semester a senior class that's called senior capstone or internship. It's a culmination class. So this is not a class that's now focused on one textbook or certain resources. It's everything that's been learned up to that point, and so it's a culmination of all the knowledge, all the skills, and then we want the students to apply it. They've already been applying it, but focus application. So our college has a significant spotlight on experiential learning right now. Dr. Holbert has on his quality enhancement plan, Vikings core to career t-shirt. Thank you very much. And so experiential learning we're building a culture at our college. And so this is a great example of that in the senior capstone or internship class, students will have the opportunity to secure an internship. As I think we know, working with an organization and a so-called like employer in that way to have practice, but in a real live working environment, their skills and their knowledge, or they might do some other project that's going to be closely aligned in working with the faculty for each student to meet their needs and what's the right fit at that time that they're in the capstone class.
I think I would like to, for a student, I would think of it as being fun because especially, if you're creating a project or you're doing a project, I like to think of it as part of a portfolio that you're putting together for your employer and saying, okay, if you're a programming student, you're actually going to create a program, and a full blown program that you can advertise to them and say, look, I wrote this and this is what I can do. And that's if you don't do the internship. I think either one of them is great for a student, and it really enhances that final step before you're heading out there and gives you something to, obviously, if you have an internship, that gives you saying, I've been out there, I've done it. And if you've got a project that you did, you've got something you point to, say, I completed this, and here's a great example of what I'm capable of.
And so I'm so glad that you said that that's the fun class. So as the dean, perhaps I was hesitating and saying as if that were the only fun class. It's all fun. Learning is fun, right? But yep, that's the fun class, the culmination class, the you've made it class.
It gives a chance to brag about what you've learned this whole time.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And no matter whichever program you're looking at, to get started with this, it's going to be going straight on the website and just applying with St. John's, right? There's not like a special application. They just go straight to St. John's and apply looking into these programs.
Correct. And there's contact information on our website as well. If anybody has questions about one of these degrees or any degree at our college, there's specific contact name to reach out to that really gets in touch with us so that we can ensure that we're answering all those questions.
One more question, because I completely forgot that I had it to ask. The Bachelor's of Applied Science degree, does a student have to have gotten the AS degree, the Associates in Science degree first, or could they have gotten that AA degree, the Associates in Arts degree, and then go into the BAS for the computer information technology? Is that an option?
Yes, and that's a great question. And so if people aren't aware, so in the state of Florida, we operate in a 2+2 model in the Florida college system. So what that means is our students, now that our state colleges like us, like we can, offer bachelor's degrees, the model is that students first earn an associate's degree or a 2-year degree, and then can advance or move into a bachelor's degree. So that's that 2+2 model in our system. And so for this program, we'll accept students who have earned either an associate in science degree or an AA degree. Now, we will let you know if you've earned an AS degree in one of these related fields, computer programming analysis or network systems technology, that's going to be the smoothest pathway. That articulates the best into the bachelor's degree, meaning you don't have to go back and take prerequisites. But if you got an AA degree or another AS degree in a different field, you can still apply. We'll still welcome you. We're just going to make you, in a good way, we're going to make you take those foundational classes first. So you're going to take some lower level classes while you get started in the bachelor's program. But absolutely, either AA or AS degree graduates can apply, and we welcome you to apply, and you can be successful in the program.
Now, is it my understanding that if you have the AS, you may have to do some additional general ed, whereas if you come from AA, you won't have to do that additional general ed?
That is correct. So the associate in arts degree is what we call the transfer degree, right? And so it has in it, built into it, a large credits of general education, so math, science, etc. And so those students will have fulfilled those general education requirements, but they'll need to add, if they don't already have them, the specialized classes, those lower level specialized classes. In contrast, students with an AS degree in a computer science or related area are going to have those specialized classes already completed, but they will need to pick up a few additional general education classes. They've already completed some, but they'll need to pick up a few. But students can get started in the bachelor's degree and complete those lower level classes while they start working on upper level classes. So a few of those upper level classes that are core classes don't have prereqs on them. So students, we want them to start right out the gate in some of those upper level classes, so they know what they're getting into and can be excited about pursuing the bachelor's degree.
It's not going to be a delay. You can go right in is the major part to that.
Yeah.
So no matter what, it's, again, we're just going to go on the website and apply. If you're interested in any of the programs that we've talked about today or any of the other ones at the college, just check the St. John's website, and the application Apply Now is right in the top corner. I want to thank Dr. Garrett and Dr. Halbert for joining today and letting us learn about the programs. I know I've learned a lot about them. It's very mystifying when I talk about the program. I talk about it in very general terms when I go out in town because I know very little when it comes to computer information. So thank you both for coming in and kind of demystifying it for me, but sharing it with the audience.
Thank you, Mickey. Go Vikings.
And thank you for tuning in to Virtually Vikings, your go-to source for all St. John's River State College. We hope today's discussion has inspired you to take the next step in your educational journey with us. Remember, whether you're looking to start a new career, advance in your current one, or simply explore new subjects, SJR State has the resources and support you need to succeed. If you have any questions, comments, or would like more information about our programs and services, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can email us at virtuallyvikings@sjrstate.edu and find us on all of the social media options as well. We're here to help with every step of the way. And until next time, stay curious, stay motivated, and as always, go Vikings.